Today we have to start with the topic of what? We have to start with the topic of October November 2024 paper 4 variant 1. This will be a topic for today. Take care. So let's start. This is your variant 1. Kindly take out your papers as well, take out your calculators as well. We will be doing this paper. Sure. So and at any point in also one more thing, the recorded lectures will be uploaded on the drive. You will also be getting the annotated past papers like the ones I write. Everything that I write on the past paper will be uploaded on the Google Drive. And yeah, just pay attention at any point in time. If you have any questions, you can ask. First question. Define or state Newton's law of gravitation. Okay, what is Newton's law of gravitation? A pretty easy question for 2 marks, simple 2 marks for you guys. ये 2 on 2 तो कोई भी स्कोर कर लेता है. What is the definition of Newton's law of gravitation? Gravitational force. Gravitational force is directly proportional. Directly proportional to what? Directly proportional to the product of masses and inversely proportional to the square of separation between them. Square of separation between them. Perfect. Gravitational force is directly proportional to the product of masses and inversely proportional to the square of separation between them. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. A planet may be considered as uniform sphere. Perfect. A planet may be considered as uniform sphere. A satellite is in circular orbit of period t around the planet at a height of h above the surface of the planet. Okay, so there are many things that are happening here. So you have a planet like this. Perfect. A satellite is orbiting above it at a height of what? At a height of h. Perfect. The height of the orbit can be adjusted by use of satellite rocket engine. Perfect. Figure 1.1 shows the variation with height h of the time period t. So this height versus time t is given to you. Perfect. Let's see what is happening here. By reference to the forces, explain why the orbit of the satellite is circular. Why the orbit of this satellite is circular? Yes. Any ideas? Why will this satellite move in a circular direction? If you already know the answer before me, you can write it in the chat. Why the satellite has a circular orbit? Why? Because force, that is the gravitational force, first of all acts as the centripetal force. You will say that the gravitational force of attraction between the satellite and the planet acts as your centripetal force. You can write it here. The gravitational force. The gravitational force acts as a centripetal force here. Secondly, this is a 2 mark question, so you cannot leave it on one point. Secondly, you will say that causes this force, this force causes a motion that is perpendicular, that is perpendicular to the velocity, to the velocity. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. Let's further move ahead. Now comes the interesting part. Believe me, this was in October, November 2024 ka paper. Most of my students fumbled here. Most of the A stars turned into a B or an A here. Now, this was not that difficult of a question, but students really lacked the mathematics to solve this. See what is written here. Use Newton's law of gravitation to show that H and T are related by this formula, where G is the gravitational constant and A and B are constants that depend on the properties of the planet. Okay. What do we have to show? We have to show that H and T are related using this equation. A and B are constant of the planet. Hmm. How can we do this? How can we do this? For those students who remember the lectures, might know that if this is your planet, and a satellite is orbiting around it like this, and you have to prove this equation, what will you say? Waha, very good. Centripetal force will be equal to the gravitational force. And for the more A star, जिनको बिल्कुल ही A star लेना है, they might know that centripetal force in the diagrams is marked away. Whenever we are solving for centripetal force, we mark it away. Centripetal force is equal to gravitational force. And which formula of centripetal force will we use? mRw square. Beta, this is basically what? If you remember, this is basically what? A formation of Kepler's law. This is the formation of Kepler's law. Centripetal force is equal to the gravitational force. Gravitational force is what? Capital G, capital M, small m divided by r square. Now, what is r? R is the distance from the center of the planet to the satellite. A small m gets cancelled out. Now, can you see? Now, this is also a trick, beta. Throughout the past paper sessions, I will be sprinkling tricks throughout the past paper session. Make sure you note them down in the register or somewhere in your notebook. Can you see in the final answer there is no variable of W? Can you see in the final answer there is no variable of W? That means W will be substituted with something. Can you see in the final answer there is no variable of W? That means W will be substituted with something. What can we substitute W with? 2 pi over T whole square is equals to capital D capital M over R square. Perfect. Let's take R to the other side. This becomes R cube. This becomes 4 pi square divided by T square is equals to capital D capital M. Now, R cube is equals to what? Gm divided by 4 pi square and multiplied by T square there. Simple as that. Nothing complicated here. I don't think anything is complicated here. बहुत easy हमने ये काम कर लिया. So basically what do you have? You have shown that this r cube is directly proportional to time square. Simple as that. Nothing complicated. This is what we have to prove. And what is A? A is the mass of the planet. That is dependent on the planet. What is R? R is the orbit ka radius that is dependent on the radius of the planet as well. Chalo, let's further move ahead. Any questions here? Anything that confuses you guys here? Any questions? Yes. Any questions here? No? Perfect. Chalo, let's further move ahead. Also, what you can do, see, you have to make sure that your paper is the most beautiful paper that the examiner see. So what you can do here is, although this might be in the marking scheme or this might not be in the marking scheme, I'm not sure. But what you can do is you can compare the coefficients. Just as a final touch on your paper, you can compare the coefficients. You can say A will be equal to your mass of the planet. And this R cube is equals to what? H plus B cube. So you can write all of this. Simple. So you can show the examiner that see what I have done here. I have compared the coefficients as well. Now let's see this. Use the gradient and the intercept of the line In figure 1.1, to determine the values of A and B, give units for your answer. What a beautiful question. Can you see how many marks there are? Can you see how many marks there are? 5 marks. Now, for a 5 marks question in A2, there might be some very lethal tricks in it. Yeah, there are. So first of all, if you examine what is the graph? The graph is basically of time period की power 2 over 3 and h. The graph is basically of time period की power 2 over 3 and h. What was your equation? Your equation was h plus b cube is equals to gm divided by 4 pi square over t square. नाउ फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो बेटा जो ट्रबल मुझे आ रही है कि मेरी इक्वेशन कुछ और है, ग्राफ कुछ और चीज़ का प्लॉट हुआ हुआ है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रबल दैट आई हैव टू सॉल्व हियर इज कि ग्राफ कुछ और चीज़ का प्लॉट हुआ हुआ है, इक्वेशन कुछ और चीज़ की है. सो व्हाट कैन वी डू हियर? सर टेक क्यूब रूट ऑन बोथ साइड्स. वेरी गुड सजेशन वहाब. We can take cube roots on both sides. Let's do that. Let's see whether this suggestion does wonders or not. Take cube roots on both sides. Hmm. Let's take that on both sides. Perfect. If I take cube root here, h plus b cube is equals to cube root capital G m 4 pi square. This becomes t की power 2 over 3. Cube root and cube gets cancelled out. What is remaining? H plus b is equals to cube root capital G capital M 4 pi square t की power 2 over 3. Believe me, this was the easiest step for the 5 marks. अभी और मसले आने. There are more troubles here that you need to deal with. More troubles here that you need to deal with. The graph or the question hasn't ended just yet. Just focus. So now, what can you do further? Now, this is more of an algebra ka paper than a physics ka paper, but it's nice. Okay. Now, what will you do? You will take this entire term on the left hand side. Why am I doing that? Because I want to plot this wali cheese, t power 2 over 3 on the y axis. So I will need to isolate this. Okay, let's do that. Let's multiply this towards the left hand side. 4 pi square over capital G capital M cube root into h plus b is equals to t की power 2 over 3. Now let's open up the brackets. Let's multiply this cube root with what? Let's multiply this cube root with h, then this cube root with b. Let's do that. So t power 2 over 3 is equals to what? Cube root of 4 pi square capital G capital M into h plus cube root of 4 pi square capital G capital M into b. This is illegal to give such a difficult question in A2 physics. बहुत illegal है. Even for A2 level, this was advanced because you had to do too much of algebraic manipulation. Now, now the equation is in the correct format. This will be plotted on the y-axis. This will be your gradient. This will be your x-axis. This will be your y-intercept. Can you see this has become the same as the graph plotted? Your major problems are solved. On the y-axis, you have plotted t power 2 over 3. On the x-axis, you have plotted h. Perfect. Now the gradient of the graph is equals to what? 4 pi square over capital G capital M. Now can I calculate the gradient of this graph? Yes, I can do that. Chalo, let's do the easier part now. So first of all, let's take 2 points here. Which points can I take? I can take this point. That is x0. What will be the value of y? There are 10 boxes covering 400. 9 boxes will cover 360. Perfect. Which other point should I take? Any good points here? Yeah, I can take the last point here. Let's take the last point here. That is x12, and the y value here is, y value will be 1280. Perfect. Very good, Wahab. Now, can you calculate the gradient here, guys? Guys, can you calculate the gradient here? Yes. Gradient is equals to what? Y2, that is 1280, minus y1, that is 360, divided by x2, that is 12, minus x1, that is 0. Now, if you do this again, you are making a mistake here. Can anyone tell me the mistake that we are making here? Can anyone tell me the mistake that we are making here? We are ignoring the units on the x-axis. So this also need to be multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 6. Perfect. So now what does your gradient come out to be by? 1280 minus 360. Perfect. Divide this by what? Divide this by 12 into 10 raised to the power of 6. Your answer comes out to be 7.6. Gradient comes out to be 7.6 into 10 raised to the power of minus 5. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's further move ahead, bhai. Let's further move ahead. Now, you have this gradient that is 7.6 into 10 raised to the power of minus 5. 7.6 into 10 raised to the power of minus 5 is your gradient. Now, this gradient will be equivalent to what? Under cube 4 pi square capital G capital M. What do you have to find? You have to find capital M, because that is equals to A. You have to find capital M, that is equals to A. What will you do? Take cube on both sides. Take cube on both sides. Perfect. Let's take a cube of this. This comes out to be 4.5 into 4.51 into 10 raised to the power of minus 13. 4.51 into 10 raised to the power of minus 13. This cube root will get cancelled out. 4 pi square divided by capital G capital M. And let's take this M towards the left hand side. Perfect. M is equals to what? 4 pi square divided by capital G, that is 6.67 into 10 raised to the power of minus 11, divided by 4.51 into 10 raised to the power of minus 13. What does your answer for capital M comes out to be? Genius says, please put this in the calculator. I want you to do this correctly. क्या आता है भाई M का आंसर? M का आंसर comes out to be 1.3 into 10 raised to the power of 24. Very good, Wahab. 1.3 into 10 raised to the power of 24 kg. This is your answer for M and your answer for A as well. Can you see how easy it is to score 5 marks in A2? Can you see how easy it is to score 5 marks in A2? Very easy, right? Now, let's calculate the answer for B as well. Let's calculate the answer for B as well. This is your answer for A. This is your answer for A. How are you going to calculate B? Now, to calculate B, it was easy. Calculating B was easy. What is B? B, this entire thing is your y-intercept. So, what is your y-intercept? It is 360. So, let's equate this to 360. Let's equate this 4 pi square divided by capital G capital M into B is equals to 360. What was our gradient coming out to be? What was your gradient coming out to be? 7.6 into 10 raised to the power of minus 5. Our gradient was coming out to be 7.6 into 10 raised to the power of minus 5, right? So instead of this value, let's substitute the gradient. Instead of this value, let's substitute the gradient. This comes out to be 7.6 into 10 raised to the power of minus 5. B is equals to 360. Can you now calculate the value of B? 360 divided by 7.6 into 10 raised to the power of negative 5. What does your value of B come out to be now? अब क्या आ रही है भाई? 7.4. ठीक है, हाँ यूनिट भी बता देते हैं. यूनिट इज़ वेरी इजी यार, इसका यूनिट तो बहुत इजी है. इसका यूनिट तो बहुत ही इजी है. Can you see what is the unit on the y-axis? What is the unit on the y-axis? Seconds. Yes. What is the unit on the y-axis, bhai? The unit on the y-axis is s over 2 upon 3. ठीक है. The unit on the y-axis is s over 2 upon 3. ठीक है. So what you can do is you can equate this entire thing either to s over 2 over 3 या फिर what you can do is you can do a little shortcut here. एक shortcut भी कर सकते हो. Can you realize that this b is in place of what? Radius. What will be the units of b? Meters. Either y-intercept से equate कर दो या फिर you realize this is equals to radius, the units will be meter. Here this was equals to mass, this will be the kg के units. ठीक है. तो I would suggest the shortcut approach here because this question was already lengthy. आप सिर्फ ये visualize कर लो कि this b is equals to the radius, hence the units will also be equal to the meters. Simple. Chalo. Any further questions here? Any further ambiguities here? Bhai? Chalo. Let's further move ahead. Define a specific heat capacity. Okay, what is a specific heat capacity? Any geniuses? What is a specific heat capacity? Very, very easy. I have told this multiple times. Energy required per unit mass. Energy required per unit mass. Per unit mass to raise the temperature by 1 degree centigrade. By 1 degree centigrade. Sure. Let's further move ahead by two solid blocks X and Y are made from different metals. ठीक है. Two solid blocks X and Y are made from different metals. The blocks have different initial temperatures. Perfect हो गया. Blocks के different initial temperatures है. Block Y is initially at room temperature. Okay, block Y is initially at room temperature. What is the room temperature? 25 degrees centigrade. Maybe this comes in handy somewhere. Let's see. The blocks are placed in direct thermal contact with each other. Okay, so the blocks are placed in direct thermal contact with each other. If this is your X, this will be your Y. Perfect. At time t is equals to 0. Figure 2.1 shows the variation with temperature of the two blocks. Perfect. The temperature versus time graph is given to you. Now, just by looking at this graph, what can you see? Y is gaining heat. Y is gaining heat. What is X doing? X is losing heat. X is losing heat. Chalo, that's good. Let's further see what is happening. State three conclusions that can be made. Very good. That can be drawn from the graph. जो अभी conclusion बताई है, you can write that as well. What can you write here? You can write that X is gaining. You can write it here. You can write it here that Y is gaining heat, X is losing heat. Probably this can be your first conclusion. You can further say that the initial temperature of Y is 25 degrees centigrade. You can further say that the initial temperature of, and I will tell you one more trick here, how to gain maximum points here. How to gain maximum point. Initial temperature of Y is 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, what else can you write? You can write the initial temperature of X as well. Initial temperature of X is, this is 75, 80. Okay, so 75 to 100. Okay. So 75 to 100 is getting covered in 10 boxes. Each box will represent 2.5. 10 boxes cover 25 units. One box will cover 2.5 units. This is 80, this is 82.5, this is 85. So the initial temperature of X is 85. You can write that as well. initial initial temperature of X is 85 degrees centigrade. Okay, any other conclusions? Any geniuses who would like to suggest any conclusions here, beta? Any conclusions here? Hmm. One more thing that I can see is one more thing that I can see here is at the end, both have a temperature of what? At the end, both have a temperature of what? ये line क्या है भाई? Let's see this. Let's see this line. This line is what? This is 25. So this will be 30. This will be 35. This will be 40. So at the end, both have 40 degree centigrade ka temperature. What does that mean? Both have reached thermal equilibrium. You can see at the end, both have thermal equilibrium at a temperature of 40 degrees centigrade. So you can write it here by इसको लिख दो. At the end, both blocks have reached a thermal equilibrium at a temperature of 40 degrees centigrade. Perfect. Let's move on to part 2. The mass of block Y divided by the mass of block X is 1.3. Perfect. The metal in block Y has a specific heat capacity of this. By metal in block Y की आपको specific heat capacity given दे दी है. That is you are given with Cy. Determine the specific heat capacity of block X. Beta, what will be utilized here? What will be utilized here? Yes. What will be utilized here? Hmm. What will be utilized here, beta? Yes. क्या utilize करेंगे? Hmm. Yep. What will be utilized here, भाई? क्या करेंगे? We will say. यार सारे इतने थक गए हो. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? अच्छा आंसर निकाल लिया फैजान. वेरी गुड यार, माशाल्लाह. वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. चलो लेट्स सी वेदर योर आंसर इज करेक्ट और नॉट. What will you utilize here? You will say, you will say energy gained by Y is equals to what? Energy lost by X. Energy gained by Y is equals to energy lost by X. Okay. But now what will we do ahead? आगे क्या करेंगे बेटा? We will apply the formula of MC, or you can say M, that is the mass of Y, divided by the specific heat capacity of Y multiplied by the temperature change of Y is equals to the mass of X multiplied by the specific heat capacity of X multiplied by the change in temperature of X, not Y, sorry. Now here your already existing data will come in handy. First of all, we know that mass of Y over mass of X is what? 1.3. Mass of Y over mass of X is what? 1.3. So mass of Y over mass of X, let's bring in the ratio here. Mass of Y over mass of X, Cy into what is change in temperature of Y? Y was initially at 25. Now it is at 40 degree. So we will place a temperature difference of 15 degrees centigrade. What is the specific heat capacity of X? We don't know that. What is the temperature change in X? From 85 to 40. That is 45 degrees centigrade. 45. Okay. Now we are given in the question that mass of Y over mass of X is equals to what? 1.3. What is the specific heat capacity of Y? 901. Place it here. 901 into 15 divided by 45 is your specific heat capacity of X. Can you calculate the specific heat capacity of X by? Specific heat capacity of X nikalo, shabash. Who will calculate this? The specific heat capacity of X comes out to be what? Anyone with the calculator? 390 joules per kg per Kelvin. Perfect, Faizan, correct? Shabash. Anyone that has any difficulties, भाई किसी को भी कोई difficulties सवाल में? Anyone that has any sort of difficulties in this entire question, beta, ask away. No, perfect, clear, alhamdulillah, very good. If you have any difficulties, ask away. If everything is clear, just give a thumbs up in the chat, bhai. Just give a thumbs up in the chat if everything is clear. Let's further move ahead, bhai. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now let's see this one. Okay, state what is meant by Avogadro's constant. Okay, state what is meant by Avogadro's constant. Yes. What is meant by Avogadro's constant? Anyone? Number of particles per unit of a substance. You will say number of particles. Number of particles per unit amount of a substance. Of a substance. Perfect. State the relationship between Avogadro's constant, the molar gas constant, and the Boltzmann constant. Who will tell this one? ये तो notes में भी लिखा हुआ था. Who will tell this one? We have studied this as well. What is the relationship between these three? Avogadro's constant is equals to molar gas constant divided by the specific Boltzmann constant. Simple. You can write the other way around as well. Boltzmann constant is equals to R divided by Na. You can write the other way around as well. Now let's see this. This is interesting. Two samples X and Y of ideal gases both are at thermodynamic temperature T. Perfect. Sample X has a volume of V and consists n number of molecules, each of mass m. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Sample Y has a volume of 2V, consists of 2n number of molecules, each of mass 2m. Okay. Complete the figure 3.1 by giving expressions each in term of nmtv and the constants in part A2 for the quantities indicated. First of all, you have to tell the pressure. First of all, you have to tell the pressure in both X and Y. So, do you remember any formulas? Do you remember any formulas? PV is equals to NKT. PV is equals to NKT. Okay. So, if you want to calculate the pressure in X, if you want to calculate the pressure in X, what will you do? Pressure in X is equals to the number of molecules in X. That is what? N multiplied by K multiplied by temperature divided by the volume of X, that is V. So the pressure of X comes out to be NKT over V. Perfect. Let's move on to the pressure of Y. Now the pressure of Y will also be calculated with the same formula. PV is equals to NKT. But there is a problem here. The number of molecules are 2n. So let's place that 2nkt. The volume is 2V. Perfect. So divided by 2V. Again, your pressure comes out to be what? nkt over V. Your pressure comes out to be nkt over V. Perfect. This meeting is going to end in 1 minute or so. So please rejoin with the same link. This meeting is going to end in 1 minute or so. So please rejoin with the same link. Now you have to calculate the amount of substance. By this, what does the examiner means? You have to calculate the number of moles. You have to calculate the number of moles. How can you calculate the number of moles? Very, very easy. Number of moles used to be equal to what? Number of molecules. Number of molecules. Number of moles का formula लिख लो if you have forgotten that. Number of molecules divided by the Avogadro's constant. How many number of molecules for sample X? N divided by the Avogadro's constant, that is Na. How many number of molecules for sample Y? 2n divided by the Avogadro's constant, that is n. Now you have to tell the mean square speed of molecules of sample X and the mean square speed of sample Y. Okay, now you have to tell the mean square speed of sample X and the mean square speed of sample Y. What will we do here? Any ideas? Any ideas what will we do here? Do you guys remember this formula? 1 over 2. Oh, 1 second. Do you guys remember this formula? 1 over 2 m c square is equals to 3 over 2 k t. Do you remember this formula? Kinetic energy of ideal gas used to be equal to 3 over 2 kT. What can you do here? 2 and 2 cancel out. What is the mass? What is the mass of molecules for x, m? So what will your mean square speed become? C square will be equal to 3 kT over m. Let's write it here. 3 kT over m. What will be the mean square speed for y? Same, 3 kT. But the mass of y is what? 2m. So you will divide it by 2m. Perfect. Let's move on to the internal energy now. Now, if you remember, in an ideal gas, the internal energy is what? The internal energy is equals to the kinetic energy. And the kinetic energy is equals to what? 1 over 2 mc square. Do you agree? Kinetic energy is equals to what? 1 over 2 mc square. Furthermore, if you realize this 1 over 2 mc square is equals to what? 3 over 2 kt. So your internal energy is equals to 3 over kt. But if you remember, there was a problem with this formula. If you remember, there was a deficiency or problem with this formula. Who can tell the problem with this below वाला formula? 3 over 2 kt वाले formula के साथ मसला कौन बता सकता है? This formula for one molecule. This formula was only for one molecule. You have to tell the internal energy for the entire sample X. What will you do? You will multiply it with the number of molecules of X. That is nkt. 3 over 2 nkt. What are the number of molecules? What are the number of molecules of Y? 2n. So you will multiply it by 2n. 3 over 2 kt into 2n. Cancel, cancel. This becomes what? 3n kt. Simple as that. Any ambiguities? कोई सवाल है बच्चों? You can ask here. Anything that you feel like is not clear, you can ask. आगे बढ़े चलो, let's further move ahead भाई. Now let's see this. The temperature of the sample is now varied. Perfect. Temperature of the sample is now varied. You have to draw a graph of thermodynamic temperature versus RMS speed. Beta, do you realize this is RMS speed? This is what? Under root of cu square. This is under root of cu square. You have to draw a graph of under root of cu square versus thermodynamic temperature. So what can you say? 3 over 2 kt is equals to 1 over 2 mc square. If you realize 2 and 2 gets cancelled out. Perfect. Now if you further realize 3k over mt is equals to cu square. This 3 over 3k over m, this 3k over m is a constant. So you can say temperature is directly proportional to cu square. Now you can plot cu square on the y-axis, but this would be incorrect. Because what do you have to plot? Under root of cu square. So let's take under root on both sides. Under root of temperature is equals to CRMS. Now this can be plotted on the y-axis, this on the x-axis. So basically, you will draw what? You will draw a graph of y is equals to under root x. And a graph of y is equals to under root x looks something like this. Y is equals to under root x looks something like this. Perfect, all clear. Any ambiguities here? If you have any ambiguities, any questions, भाई ask away. क्योंकि ये बहुत ही सिंपल था, बहुत ही सिंपल था. ठीक है, चलो लेट्स फर्दर मूव अहेड भाई, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's further. Sir, can you tell us more relationship like these? How their graphs are plotted? Yes, surely I can do that. देखो, first of all, you need to know about the linear relationship. What is linear relationship? Linear relationship is y is equals to x. Linear relationship is the direct proportionality relationship. If your y is directly proportional to x, you have to draw a graph of y is equals to x. What type of a graph is that? Somewhat like this. However, if you have to draw a graph of y is directly proportional to x square, you will draw a graph like this. So there are three different types of relationships. Let's further move ahead. What is meant by simple harmonic motion? Very, very easy. Acceleration is directly proportional to displacement, and acceleration is in opposite direction to displacement. Acceleration is directly proportional to displacement. Acceleration is in opposite direction to displacement. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. A block is suspended from a spring. Perfect. एक block suspended है from a spring as shown in figure 4.1. Perfect. The block is now pulled down and released at time t is equals to 0. Perfect. It then oscillates vertically with simple harmonic motion. Perfect. Figure 4.2 shows the variation of the velocity of the block with the height of the base of the block above the floor. ठीक है. The velocity versus height graph is shown. Perfect. If you further move ahead, determine the amplitude in centimeters of the oscillation. Okay, okay. Determine the amplitude of the oscillations in centimeters. How are you going to do that? Geniuses, any answers? How are you going to determine the amplitude? Have I told you something? Whenever you are given such a situation, जी graph से तो करोगे, but how will you do that? In the graph, you aren't provided with the amplitude directly. However, you are given the maximum and minimum positions. What is this? Minimum position. This is 3.5. What is this? Maximum position. That is 9.5. What is the formula of amplitude? Amplitude is equals to maximum minus minimum divided by 2. What is maximum? 9.5. Minimum is 3.5. Divided by 2. Your answer comes out to be 3 centimeters. Yeah. The amplitude is 3 centimeters. Perfect. 3.5 कैसे आ रहा है भाई? Have I made a mistake भाई? 3.5 कैसे आ रहा है? मैंने कोई गलती की है? मेरे ख्याल से 3 सेंटीमीटर आ रहा है आप. Check it out भाई. Clear करो. 3 centimeters is your amplitude. Perfect. Okay. Another very, very easy question. Show that the angular frequency of the oscillation is this. Okay, how can you show that? You know that the maximum velocity v naught is equals to what? X naught multiplied by w. Can you calculate the maximum velocity here? Yes. Maximum velocity क्या है भाई? ये चीज. This thing. This thing. This thing is your maximum velocity. That is equals to what? 9.5. Okay. So V naught is 9.5 divided by X naught, that is 3. What does your W come out to be? Can any genius tell me? The W comes out to be 3.2. 3.2 radians per second. Calculate the time period of the oscillation. Again, very easy. W is equals to 2 pi over T. W was what? 3.2. 2 pi divided by 3.2 will be your time period. Time period is equals to 2 pi over 3.2. This comes out to be what? This comes out to be 2 seconds. Simple as that. Time period is 2 seconds. On figure 4.3, sketch the variation of the height with time from t is equals to 0 till time t is equals to 6 seconds. Very, very, very easy. You have to tell how the height is changing from time t is equals to 0 till time t is equals to 6 seconds. Very easy. If you analyze here, क्या हुआ भाई? अच्छा ठीक है. If you analyze here, you have to draw what? You have to draw the graph of what? You have to draw the graph of displacement versus time. You have to draw the graph of displacement versus time. Okay, okay, okay. So your time period is 2 seconds. Perfect. Time period 2 seconds है ठीक है. Now what will happen in these 2 seconds? What will happen in these 2 seconds? Let's say initially you are starting from the mean position. Let's say initially you are starting from the mean position. What is the mean position here? Okay. First of all, understand भाई सवाल पूछ क्या रहा है. See, you have the maximum displacement, maximum h, you have the minimum h. You can also utilize it to calculate the mean position. How can you calculate that? Maximum plus minimum divided by 2. What is your maximum? 9.5. What is your minimum? 3.5 divided by 2. This comes out to be what? 13 divided by 2. That is 6.5 centimeters is your mean position. Sir, why did you calculate it that? 6.5 is your mean position. Perfect. Very, very useful. First of all, from 7.5 to 5, 2.5 units are getting covered and 10 boxes are getting covered. 0.25 units will get covered in one box. Okay. So basically, this will be what? 5.5, this will be 6, this will be 6.5. Now, why is this important, beta? Why is this important to calculate 6.5 or the mean position? Because at the starting, you will be at the mean position. Then, you have a time period of 2 seconds. So divide this 2 seconds into 4 equal halves. 0.5 seconds, 0.5 seconds, 0.5 seconds, 0.5 seconds. After 0.5 seconds, you will be at the maximum displacement, that is 9.5. 9.5 will be somewhere here. Then after further 0.5 seconds, you will be at the mean position again. Then after further 0.5 seconds, you will be at the minimum position again. That is somewhere here. This is 2.5. This will be 3. This will be 3.5. Somewhere here. कुछ यहाँ पे आपका पॉइंट बनेगा. Then again, after further 0.5 seconds, you will be at the mean position again. So you can draw a sinusoidal curve like this. You can draw a sinusoidal curve like this. Is this clear to everyone? Yes. Vanya, Aleha, Fazan, Shakir, Wahab, and one more student that has no name, unfortunately. How we determine the time period? बेटा टाइम पीरियड तो ये रहा ना, आपने ऊपर ही डिटरमाइन किया है. 2 seconds आ गया टाइम पीरियड. Can you please explain it again? Sure. देखो, first of all, you have to find the mean position. First of all, you have to find the mean position. Why? Because you always start from the mean position. ठीक है, तो mean position आप किस तरह निकालोगे? You can calculate mean position by maximum plus minimum divided by 2. What is your maximum value? 9.5. Minimum value is 3.5. Plus both of them divided by 2. Mean position comes out to be 6.5 centimeters. Perfect. Mean position by 6.5 centimeter है. तो आपने 6.5 centimeter पे जाके mean position बना दी. Then you have a time period of 2 seconds. Okay. What actually happens in simple harmonic motion? Have you ever pondered upon what happens in simple harmonic motion भाई? कभी सोचा है कि simple harmonic motion में होता क्या? You start from the mean position, you go to the maximum position. What was the maximum position? Maximum position was at a height of 9.5. So I marked 9.5 here. Then you again come to the mean position. And again you go to the minimum position. That is 3.5. Again to the mean position. This is your complete time period in a simple harmonic motion. This is your complete time period in a simple harmonic motion. Any questions here further मुझे बताओ. Any further questions भाई? Yes. चलो let's further move ahead भाई if there are no questions. State the relationship between electric field and electric potential. Oh, very easy question. A very, very easy question. You have to make till 6 seconds. So what will you do? You will just replicate this graph. You will just replicate this graph 2 times. Simple. State the relationship between electric field and electric potential. What is the relationship between electric field and electric potential? Negative gradient. Negative gradient of electric potential graph of electric potential is equal to the electric field strength is equals to the electric field strength. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. Two charged isolated insulating spheres x and y are near to each other as shown in figure 5.1. Perfect. Two charged isolated insulating spheres x and y are near to each other. P is a point on the line joining the centers of the sphere. Perfect. Explain why is it not possible for the total electric potential and the resultant electric field to be simultaneously zero at point zero at point P. Yeah, a very good question. क्या कह रहा है एग्जामिनर why can't the total electric potential and the resultant electric field be zero simultaneously at point P? What a beautiful question. Yep, would anyone like to answer this one? बहुत ही easy answer है. Yes. For your total potential difference to be zero, for your total potential difference to be zero, what must happen? For your total potential difference, total potential to be zero, one electric potential, one electric potential must be positive. Must be positive. As I write this answer, genius students might know what is going to happen next. One electric potential must be positive and the other negative. ओके 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 बेटा अगर आपका एक पोटेंशियल पॉजिटिव है एक नेगेटिव है व्हाट डज दिस मीन व्हाट डज दिस मीन्स द चार्जेस मस्ट बी ऑफ ऑपोजिट साइंस the charges must be of opposite signs. The charges must be of opposite signs. ना ना इक्वल मैग्नीट्यूड की जरूरत नहीं है टोटल पोटेंशियल टू बी जीरो वन इलेक्ट्रिक पोटेंशियल शुड बी पॉजिटिव वन शुड बी नेगेटिव भाई अगर आप यहाँ पे पोटेंशियल को जीरो चाह रहे हो तो व्हाट शुड हैपन द पोटेंशियल शुड एक्स मस्ट बी पॉजिटिव द पोटेंशियल एट वाई मस्ट बी नेगेटिव perfect then only the total potential at p will be zero so या ये कह लो hence for total electric potential to be zero charges must be unlike charges must be unlike now here comes the twist but for resultant electric field strength to be zero but for resultant electric field strength to be zero your charges should be like charges should be like perfect all clear I hope so let's further move ahead the magnitude of charges on a sphere x and y in figure 5.1 are q and 2q देखो वहाँ this is not needed to be same charges different भी हो सकते हैं भाई the spheres may be considered as point charges at their centers ठीक है Point P is a distance of x from the sphere x. The electric potential at point P is 0. Perfect. अच्छा हमें बता रहे हैं भाई कि electric potential at point P is 0. Perfect. Show that the distance y of point P from the center of the sphere is equals to 2x. Okay, okay, okay. Too much of information here. Point P is at a distance of x from the center of sphere x. Okay. So the distance this is x. Perfect. And we have this charge of x as q. We have the charge of y as 2q. I think this was said here. Charge of x is q and charge of y is 2q. Perfect. Show that the distance y of point P from the center of sphere y is equals to 2x. Okay. क्या शो करना है भाई? We have to show that this distance y is equals to 2x and electric potential at P is 0. Okay, so what will we do here? What will we do here? Any ideas? You will say that if the electric potential at P is 0, that means electric potential at x plus electric potential at y should be equal to 0. Perfect. And have we okay, yeah, there is nothing else written. Okay. So electric potential at P is 0. What will be the electric potential at P due to the charge x? Q over 4 pi E naught multiplied by x plus electric potential due to y 2q 4 pi E naught y. Let's take this to the other side. This becomes what? Negative q 4 pi E naught x is equals to 2q 4 pi E naught y. What will get cancelled out? Q 4 pi E naught, Q 4 pi E naught. 2 gets multiplied there. Y is equals to 2x. We have shown that. Simple, nothing complicated. Let's further move ahead. Okay, let's see this. State the expression in terms of Q, X, and permittivity of free space for the electric field strength at P ड्यू टू स्फेयर एक्स. भाई स्फेयर एक्स की वजह से इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड स्ट्रेंथ बतानी है आपने. एट विच पॉइंट? एट पॉइंट पी. So what is the formula of electric field strength? Very, very easy. Electric field strength is equals to what? Q divided by 4 pi E naught x square. 4 pi E naught x square. Simple as that. Q divided by 4 pi E naught x square is your electric field strength at x. Perfect. Determine an expression in terms of q x E naught for the resultant electric field strength at E due to the two spheres. Very, very easy again. What will be the resultant electric field strength at P? Q over 4 pi E naught x square plus 2q over 4 pi E naught 2q. 2q over 4 pi E naught 2x square. This comes out to be what? Q plus 4 pi E naught x square plus 2q over 4 pi E naught 4x square. This 1 and this 2 gets cancelled out. What is remaining? Q over 4 pi E naught x square plus q over 8 pi E naught x square. Perfect. And let's take the denominator as common. Let's multiply this by 2 by 2. 2q plus q over 8 pi E naught x square. What is your final answer? 3q over 8 pi E naught x square. Perfect. I hope there are no ambiguities here. State what is meant by rectification of an alternating voltage. Yes, what is meant by rectification of an alternating voltage? Converting an AC voltage into DC voltage. Simple. Nothing complicated here. State the difference between half wave rectification and full wave rectification. Okay. What is the difference between half wave rectification and full wave rectification? You can say in half wave rectification, in half wave rectification, only positive cycles of voltage are rectified. Only positive cycles of voltage are rectified. In full wave rectification, all the wave, or you can say positive and negative cycles both, positive and negative cycles both are rectified. Simple as that, nothing complicated. Let's further move ahead. Complete figure 6.1. Okay, you have to complete figure 6.1 to show a circuit that produces half wave rectification. Beta, always remember in half wave rectification we have one diode, okay, of an alternating input voltage across the output voltage. So what will you do? You will place a diode here. Simple as that. This is your diode. Simple. Attached with parallel to a capacitor and then to a resistor. Simple as that. Nothing complicated. Okay. Let's further move ahead. State the purpose of the capacitor. Why is the capacitor used? To cause smoothing. To cause smoothing. Yep. क्या है क्वेश्चन चैट में? Why not in series? बेटा सीरीज में कैसे लगाओगे? How will you put a capacitor in series? पावर डिवाइड हो जाएगी, वोल्टेज भी डिवाइड हो जाएगा बेटा, कैपेसिटर सीरीज में लगाओगे तो. Let's see this. The input voltage in figure 6.1 is a square wave. Figure 6.2 shows the variation of input voltage with time. Perfect. So this is your input voltage. This is your input voltage. Perfect. This is your input voltage. Figure 6.3 shows the variation of output voltage. Wow. So this is the variation of output voltage. Show that the capacitance is this. You have to show that the capacitance is this if the maximum energy stored is this value. बेटा आपने दिखाना है कि capacitance is this if the maximum energy stored is 0.041. So what is the energy stored in a capacitor? 1 upon 2 CV square. Energy stored in a capacitor क्या है भाई? 0.041. Capacitance क्या है? 570 microfarads. So instead of this C, place 570 microfarads. 0.041 into 2 divided by 570 into 10 raised to the power of minus 6 taken under root. Sorry, my bad. मेरा भी brain freeze हो गया. Okay. So here you have to show that capacitance is this value. What will be your maximum voltage? 12. So place 12 here. 0.041 divided by 12 square into 2 is equals to your capacitance. What does your capacitance comes out to be? 570 microfarads. 570 microfarads. Determine the resistance of the resistor. This is an interesting question. This is an interesting question after a lot of while. और इसके देखो marks भी 3 हैं. This is an interesting question and the marks are also 3. So what are you going to do here? You will apply the decay equation for voltage. You will apply the decay equation for voltage. V is equals to V naught E minus T over RC. Perfect. Decay equation is what? V is equals to V naught T over RC. What is your voltage after decay? What is your voltage after decay? 8. What is your peak voltage? 12. What is the time taken from peak voltage to 8 volts? 0.01 to 0.02 seconds. That is the time taken is 0.01 seconds. You have the time, you have the peak voltage that is 12, you have the decayed voltage that is 8. E is equals to minus 0.01. Resistance you have to calculate. Capacitance is 570 into 10 raised to the power of minus 6. Can you calculate the resistance by taking ln on both sides? Yes. Resistance comes out to be 43 ohms. Simple as that. शाबाश वहाब, वेरी गुड यार. वहां भी पेपर कर रहा है बस मेरे साथ, बाकी सारे मूवी देखना है. Define magnetic flux density. Okay, what is magnetic flux density? Magnetic flux density is force per unit length per unit current. Magnetic flux density is force per unit length per unit current. Per unit current. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. Along straight wires carries current into the page. Draw 4 field lines. These are literally free marks. These are literally 3 free marks. You have to draw magnetic field lines for current carrying into the page. Beta, you have to draw magnetic field lines for current carrying into the page. You will draw clockwise definition. You will draw clockwise magnetic field lines like this. Like this. Yeah. Somewhat like this. And you have to take care of one more thing, that the distance between the circles keep on increasing. The distance between the circles keep on increasing. One last circle like this. The distance between the circles keep on increasing. Perfect. Chalo. Let's further move ahead. Two identical. Also, you have to mark arrows on each of the circle like this, like this, like this, like this. ठीक है? चलो. Let's further move ahead. Two identical wires X and Y are placed parallel to each other. The wires both carry current. Please show the. Oh, sorry. 1 second. 1 second. Yep, you are correct, Wahab. Arrows यहाँ पे उल्टे बनेंगे. Yes, you are correct about that. 1 second. These will be like this. In the clockwise direction. Yep. And you keep on increasing the distance. ठीक है? You keep on increasing the distance. और बाकी क्या पूछ रहे थे सर? Isn't the definition induced current in a wire? No. The definition of magnetic flux density is this. And if you want to be further smart, you will say force per unit length per unit current in a conductor perpendicular to the magnetic field. Perpendicular to the magnetic field. This is the 3 marker definition. Let's further move ahead, bhai. Two current carrying wires into the page X and Y. The wires both carry current into the page as shown in figure 7.2. Okay. So both of them are carrying current into the page. Explain why the two wires exert a magnetic force on each other. Yes. Have we studied this in electromagnetism? Yes, beta. Have we studied this in electromagnetism? Why the two wires exert force on each other? Yes. The two wires interact with the magnetic fields created by the other wire, generating magnetic force. You can say that. You can say that. You can say. एक सेकंड, और कोई सवाल है? न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ यहाँ पे लिखना नेसेसरी नहीं है, बट यू कैन राइट इट जस्ट टू बी सेफ. You will say current in one wire interacts with the magnetic field, with the magnetic field of the other wire, of the other wire, generating a magnetic force, generating a magnetic force. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. On figure 7.2, draw an arrow to show the direction of magnetic force. You will say what? It will be an attractive force like this. Simple. The current in X is double the current in Y. This is a repeated question. Those who have been taking regular classes might know this is a repeated question. The current in X is double than the current in Y. State how the magnetic force exerted on Y compares with the magnetic force exerted on X. यहाँ पे you will write Newton's third law. You will say forces have equal magnitude. Why? Forces have equal magnitude. Forces have equal magnitude and opposite in direction according to Newton's third law. According to Newton's third law. Perfect. The direction of current in both the wires is now reversed. State the effect of this change on the direction of the force on wire X. No change. Still, it will be attractive. No change. Perfect. Let's further move ahead, bhai. Any questions up till now, bhai? Any questions up till now? Yes. Any questions up till now? Yes. A polish of magnesium in a vacuum emits electrons when it is illuminated with ultraviolet radiations. Perfect. State the name of this phenomena. Okay, when ultraviolet radiations are basically incident on the magnesium metal, electrons are emitted. This phenomena is known as photoelectric effect. This phenomena is known as what? Photoelectric effect. Perfect. For emission of electrons to occur, the frequency of ultraviolet radiation must be at least this value. Take care. For the emission of electrons to occur, the frequency of the ultraviolet radiation must be at least this. Calculate the work function energy of magnesium. Okay, you have to calculate the work function. Work function is equal to what? Hf naught. Your H is what? 6.63 into 10 raised to the power of minus 34. What is F naught? 8.8 into 10 raised to the power of 14. Can you calculate the work function, beta? Can you calculate the work function? Work function comes out to be 5.8 into 10 raised to the power of minus 19 joules. Perfect. Nothing too complicated here. For the ultraviolet radiation, with a frequency of this, calculate the maximum speed of the emitted electrons. Okay. So let's say you have an ultraviolet radiation with this frequency. You have to calculate the maximum speed of the emitted electrons. So what will you do? First of all, calculate the energy of photon using HF. H is what? 6.63. 10 raised to the power of minus 84. Your frequency is 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz. Can you calculate the energy of photon here, beta? Can you calculate the energy of photon here? क्या आती है here? If you calculate the energy of photon here, 6.63, 10 raised to the power of minus 34 into 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14. And I want all of you to have a calculator at your hand by please, please, please. This comes out to be. Which paper is going on? Beta, we are doing October, November 2024, paper 4, variant 1. October, November 2024, paper 4, variant 1, and this is question number 8. The total energy comes out to be what? 7 5.29 into 10 raised to the power of minus 19 joules. Now, do you guys remember that energy of a photon used to get divided into two things? Energy of a photon used to get divided into two things, work function and the kinetic energy maximum. Do you have the work function? Yes. Do you have the total energy? Yes. Can you calculate the kinetic energy? Yes. The total energy is 7.29 into 10 raised to the power of minus 19 minus the work function, that is 5.8 into 10 raised to the power of minus 19. This gives you your kinetic energy maximum. What does your maximum kinetic energy come out to be by? Maximum kinetic energy comes out to be what? Can anyone calculate? The maximum kinetic energy comes out to be 1.493 into 10 raised to the power of minus 19 joules is your maximum kinetic energy. But you have to calculate what? Maximum speed of what? Of the electron. So what will you do? You will equate this to what? You will equate this to what? You will equate this answer to what? 1 upon 2 mv maximum square. You will equate this answer to 1 upon 2 mv maximum square. Beta, do you know the mass of electron? If you, God forbid, if you forget the mass of electron, आपने क्या करना है भाई? बिल्कुल स्टार्टिंग में जाना है. You have to go बिल्कुल स्टार्टिंग में in the data sheet. There is mass of electron and proton both. ये proton का mass है and this is your mass of an electron. We currently only want the mass of an electron. Yeah, Wahab, very good. 9.11 into 10 raised to the power of minus 31. ठीक है. 9.11 where will we be? ओए होए बहुत ही नीचे आ जाओ. हाँ इधर से. 9.11 into 10 raised to the power of minus 31. So instead of the mass, I will place what? Instead of the mass, let's place 9.11 into 10 raised to the power of minus 31 into velocity maximum square. You can easily calculate the velocity maximum by multiplying 2 here divided it by 9.11 into 10 raised to the power of negative 31 taken under root. Velocity maximum comes out to be what? Wahab calculated बेटा कोई एक बंदा calculate करके मुझे बताओ. Velocity maximum comes out to be 5.7 into 10 raised to the power of 5 ms minus 1. All clear, yes or no? If this is not clear, ask away बच्चों. Please don't be shy. यार ये perfect. चलो, let's further move ahead भाई. Let's further move ahead. Let's see the next question. Okay, we have this. The frequency of the ultraviolet radiation incident on the magnesium sheet is varied between this and this. Perfect. The frequency is varied from 8 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz to 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz. Perfect. Can you realize something here? Can you realize something here? 8 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz was what? This was your threshold frequency. So if you vary the frequency between 8 into 10 raised to the power of 14 and 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14, this 8 into 10 raised to the power of 14 is what? Below threshold frequency. So for some amount of time, photoelectric effect will not occur. You have to draw the variation of frequency with kinetic energy. Have we studied this exact graph? Yes, we have studied this exact graph. For the initial values of frequency, that is from 8 till 8.8, that is still here. There will be no photoelectric effect. There will be no photoelectric effect. What do you not understand? Yep. कौन सा सवाल नहीं समझ आया भाई? Yes, Fatma, which सवाल did you not understand? ये वाला सवाल नहीं समझ आया. Threshold frequency वाला part. Yes, yes, yes. We are coming to that. We are coming to that. Just wait for a minute. Can you realize here ये क्या लिखा हुआ है? For emission of electrons to occur, the frequency of ultraviolet radiations must be at least this value. So this is your threshold frequency. Just remember this. This is your threshold frequency. Just remember this. Let's bring this downward. Your threshold frequency is 8.8 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz. Perfect. Now, please understand everyone that before threshold frequency, there is no photoelectric effect. If there is no photoelectric effect, yep, if there is no photoelectric effect, there will be no kinetic energy of electrons as well. But a photoelectric effect starts to happen after this frequency. इससे पहले वाली frequencies पे there will be no photoelectric effect. Below F naught there will be no photoelectric effect. If there is no photoelectric effect below F naught, there will be no kinetic energy. Till 8.8, your kinetic energy will be zero. Do you now get it? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you now get it? Yes, Charo. You also know one more thing. You also know one more small little thing. That when the frequency is 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz, when the frequency is 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz, what is your kinetic energy? When your frequency was 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14 hertz, your kinetic energy was 1.49 into 10 raised to the power of minus 19 joules. So let's mark this value as well. When your frequency is 11 into 10 raised to the power of 14, your kinetic energy is roughly 1 point. It was 1.49? Yeah, 1.49. Your kinetic energy is roughly 1.49. So this is 1. This is 1.5. 0.5 gets covered in 10 boxes. So basically 0.05 gets covered in one box. So where will be 1.49? Very close here. Can you draw a line? Can you draw a line? Yep. Sir, is kinetic energy maximum 0 at threshold frequency? Yes. At threshold frequency, at F naught, your kinetic energy maximum is 0. Can you draw a line now? बेटा एक line बना सकते हो यहाँ पे between these 2 points? Yes, you can draw that. Somewhat along this. Okay, let's see question number 9. An easy terrain question. Easy terrain question. Fluorine 18, perfect. So fluorine 18 decays by emission of a beta positive particle with a half life of 110 minutes. State the name of the beta plus particle. Okay. What is the beta plus particle known as? The beta plus particle is known as positron. It is known as a positron. Perfect. Show that the decay constant of fluorine 18 is this. Okay, we have to show that the decay constant is this. Do you remember decay constant is equals to what? ln2 divided by half life. So ln2 divided by the half life, that is 110 minutes. 110 into 60 seconds. What does your answer comes out to be? शाबाश, very good Bahav. आंसर क्या आ रहा है भाई? आंसर भी निकाल लिया करो just in case you know what is happening. ठीक है? Your answer comes out to be what? Your answer comes out to be 1.05 into 10 raised to the power of minus 4. 1.05 into 10 raised to the power of minus 4 is your decay constant. Simple. Determine the activity of 2.1 into 10 raised to the power of minus 21 kg of fluorine. Okay, now you have to calculate the activity, beta. Activity किस तरह निकलती थी? Yes. Activity. Yes. Activities किस तरह निकलेंगी बेटा? Activity can be calculated using this formula. Activity is equals to lambda into number of nucleuses. Do you have the decay constant? Yes, 1.05 into 10 raised to the power of minus 4. So your lambda gets covered. You have the lambda value. But how will you calculate the number of nucleuses? How will you calculate the number of nucleuses? Any ideas, geniuses? Would you like to suggest any ideas, beta? How will you calculate the number of nucleuses here? Hmm. Very easy if you know a little bit of chemistry. Very easy if you know a little bit of chemistry. So basically, what is the examiner saying? The total mass of fluorine is this. Okay. And fluorine has a formula of what? 18, 18, 9F. Fluorine has a formula of what? 18, 9F. Can you calculate the mass of one molecule of fluorine? Beta, can you calculate the mass of one molecule of fluorine? Yes. 18 multiplied by U. 18 multiplied by 1.66 into 10 raised to the power of minus 27 is your mass of one molecule of fluorine. Can any genius in the chat calculate this and tell me, bhai? Calculations अगर आप कर लो कैलकुलेटर में, it makes my job half easy. थोड़ा सा जल्दी हो जाएगा पेपर. 29.9 into 10 raised to the power of minus 27 kg is your answer. So basically, what is lambda? Lambda is better the decay constant. Lambda is your decay constant. Lambda is your decay constant. Lambda is your decay constant which you calculate by what? ln2 divided by the half-life. Okay? Now, you have the mass of one molecule of fluorine. Beta, you have this mass of one molecule of fluorine. Okay. What is the total mass of fluorine? 2.1 into 10 raised to the power of minus 12 kg. Can you calculate the number of molecules of fluorine by? Can you calculate the number of molecules of fluorine? Yes. 2.1 into 10 raised to the power of minus 12 divided by 29.9 into 10 raised to the power of minus 27. This will give you the number of molecules of fluorine. Can anyone in the chat calculate this answer by? Minus 12 divided by 29.9 into 10 raised to the power of minus 27. This answer comes out to be what? This answer comes out to be 7.02 into 10 raised to the power of 13. So your number of molecules comes out to be what? 7.0 into 10 raised to the power of 13. Can you calculate the activity now? Yes, pretty easy. Activity is equal to the decay constant 1.05 into 10 raised to the power of minus 4 into the number of nucleuses, that is 7.02 into 10 raised to the power of 13. Can you guys calculate this activity? Your activity comes out to be 7.4 into 10 raised to the power of 9 BQ. Perfect. Very good, bhai. Fatma, very good, yeah. थोड़ी सी calculations. See, the way to do these past papers quickly is you tell me the answer to the calculation in the chat. मैं calculator में डालता हूँ फिर और देर हो जाती है. Let's see part B. A sample of fluorine 18 is injected into the body as a tracer for use in medical imaging. Which process is the examiner talking about? PET scanning. Perfect. Describe how the interaction of a beta positive particle with an electron in the body enables the formation of an image. Yep. Does anyone remember? Beta positive combines with an electron and annihilates. Annihilation occurs. This annihilation converts the mass of the two particles into energy. Two gamma ray photons are formed. So you can write all of the procedure here. Beta positive particle combines Oh, sorry, not only particle. I guess we should keep it singular. Beta positive particle combines with an electron, combines with an electron. Inhalation occurs. Inhalation occurs. And what will be your second point? The mass of the particles. Mass of the particles gets converted gets converted energy into energy. What will be the third thing that you will say here? What will be the third thing that you will say here? Two gamma ray photons traveling in opposite direction are formed. Traveling in opposite direction are formed. Perfect. एक सेकेंड भाई. सर ये थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन कर दें प्लीज. इज अ फोटोन एंड अ गामा रे फोटोन सेम? यप 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 यप. सर ये थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन कर दें बेटा. देखो वहाँ अभी तक हमने नॉर्मल क्लासेस में तो नहीं पढ़ा एनहाइलेशन का प्रोसेस, बट यू विल स्टडी इट. When beta positive combines with an electron that is negative, both are antiparticles to each other. This will result in the formation of two gamma ray photons. Simple. This is the process that we will be studying as well. Don't worry about it. Take care. Chalo, let's see this. Suggest why 1110 minutes is a suitable half life for a nucleus used as a tracer in medical diagnosis. Okay. Why is a half life of 1110 minutes suitable for a object used in medical diagnosis? Yes. A shorter half life enables what? A shorter half life enables the object, yeah, material, to become stable in a shorter amount of time. Or you can say a shorter half life, a shorter half life will cause the material to decay completely in a small amount of time. In a small amount of time. Perfect. Let's further move ahead. Yep. Very good movement. This could be also be your answer. Beta, ये answer भी लिख सकते हो. No problem in this. Let's move on to question 10. Explain how redshift leads to the idea that the universe is expanding. तो ये जो redshift होता है, how does this tell us that the universe is expanding? Redshift is telling us what? Redshift is the increase in observed wavelength. So radiations from distant galaxy appear to be redshifted. If the radiations from distant galaxy appear to be redshifted, this means the galaxies are moving away from the Earth. They are expanding. You can write this exact thing here. Sir, can we write it won't be harmful? Yep, yep. Rafe, this is also correct. यही same चीज एक और student ने भी कही थी. Yes, you can write this as well. Acha, what will you write here for the redshift? What will you write here for the redshift? You will say redshift refers, and please, I am writing these answers ताकि आपकी भी habit बने how to write these answers. Don't take these for granted. हाँ मैं कर देता हूँ redshift. Redshift refers to the increase in observed wavelength of light. Simple. Light from distant galaxies appear to be redshifted by. Light from distant galaxies appear to be redshifted, appear to be redshifted. Hence, yeah, this proves, hence, the galaxies are moving away from Earth, are moving away from Earth, or slash expanding. Slash expanding. Simple as that, nothing complicated. Let's further move ahead. A star in a distant galaxy emit radiation. The total luminosity is this. So you have the value of L. This is your L. Perfect. The emission spectrum of the radiation contains a line at a wavelength of this. Perfect. We have the wavelength as well. Radiation from the galaxy is observed on the Earth. The observed radiation has a radiant flux intensity. You have your F as well. This is your F by. In the observed spectrum, the wavelength x has this value. Perfect. तो बेटा अगर आप अर्थ पे सेम चीज ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हो यू विल हैव अ वेवलेंथ ऑफ व्हाट 658 नैनोमीटर्स. If you observe the same light from a distant galaxy, this is your wavelength. Simple, simple, simple. Nothing complicated. Perfect. First of all, you have to calculate distance d of the galaxy from the Earth. Which formula will we apply? F is equals to L over 4 pi d square. Perfect. F is equals to L over 4 pi d square. Do you have the luminosity? Yes. Do you have the F? Yes. Can anyone calculate the answer and tell me why? This is 8.42. 8.42 into 10 raised to the power of minus 16. Your luminosity is 1.9 into 10 raised to the power of 36 divided by 4 pi d square. Can anyone calculate the answer of D? भाई कोई D का आंसर निकाल सकता है? The answer to D comes out to be 1.34 into 10 raised to the power of 25 meters. Simple as that. Nothing complicated. You guys can also calculate this. ठीक है? Achha, now you have to calculate the speed of recession of the galaxy. You have to basically calculate what? V. So you will say change in lambda divided by lambda is equals to speed of recession divided by the speed of light. Now most of the students will ask, sir, ये formula कहाँ से आया? This is a standard formula of Doppler effect. This is a standard formula of Doppler effect. Okay, how will you calculate change in lambda? One lambda is 726, other is 658. Subtract both of them. 726 minus 658 into 10 raised to the power of minus 9 due to the nanometer. Due to the nanometer. 726 minus 658, perfect. Divided by the lambda on the earth, that was 658 into 10 raised to the power of minus 9 is equals to the speed of recession v divided by the speed of light 3 into 10 raised to the power of 8. Cancel, cancel. What will your speed of recession be? 726. इसको निकाल लो भाई. 726 minus 658 divided by, oh, this we have to calculate, divided by 658 into 3 into 10 raised to the power of 8. This comes out to be what? Anyone with the correct answer? I have gotten my correct answer. The velocity comes out to be 3.1 into 10 raised to the power of 7 ms minus 1. Perfect. Let's move ahead. You have to draw what? You have to draw the variation of the distance with the velocity v. Do you remember any formulas relating speed of recession and distance d? Speed of recession is equals to the Hubble space constant into the distance d. याद है बेटा formula ये? Yep. According to this formula, if I plot v on the y-axis, d on the x-axis, I will have an upward sloping line like this. The gradient will be the Hubble space constant. State the quantity represented by the gradient of this line, Hubble space constant. Hubble's constant. Is everything clear? We are done with this past paper.